Reacting to an original character idea someone in my Discord sent me. If you want to send me your own character ideas or rework ideas or hot takes, anything like that, the link to my Discord is down below. Okay, so I have not read this. Let's see what we have here. This is Overwatch hero Cursed Redneth. Okay. Character biography. My character's name is Cursed Redneth. He is an Omnic in the world of Overwatch and would be in the role of tank if he was played in the game. Kurtz wields a massive boomerang. Okay, that's kind of sick. I don't know. No one's got anything like that. That's actually, I think that's really cool. Okay. That he can control with static electricity. He is powered by these special rare blue diamonds. One in his boomerang and the other in his chest. Sounds like some League of Legends kind of lore. Hextech crystals or whatever. With the help of Symmetra, Kurtz used the hard light technology to produce an even lighter and stronger boomerang style weapon. Okay, so we've got some cool lore stuff. He's already built in this character rather is already built into like other characters in the universe. With some kind of like new stuff, old technology. Great, awesome. I like it a lot. Omnic tank, good. Kurtz Redneth. That's an interesting name. It's hard to get used to that. Boomerang, primary weapon, shocking. Is it called shocking? Or does it have like a shock effect? We'll have to see. 400 HP, 200 shields. I think that makes sense. Just like thematically to give him some shields. Ranged capabilities. Okay. Ideas for abilities. Primary, Rang Bang. Okay. Throws boomerang. Pierces enemies and shields. Ooh, it pierces shields? Okay. You got to be careful with that on something that has such long range. Or, like, it sounds like it might have such long range. Because that can definitely lead to just, like, the tank not ever interacting with the other tank. And just kind of ignoring a lot of the mitigation that the other tanks have. So I'm definitely got to be careful with stuff like that. Also, I don't see anything right here. Is it a projectile? Like, can it get eaten? Or is it more like Junker Queen knife where it will just retract to you? I feel like it should probably work like that because I don't think you'd want it to go through shields and defense matrix and everything like that. I feel like that might be a little too much. But yeah, pierces enemies and shields, so it means like you can hit multiple people. It'll just keep going. Complete control of when to pull it back. Oh, okay. So it'll come back or like it'll throw it out in whatever arc it has, and then you get to decide when it comes straight back to you. So you can kind of like catch people. Like, I wonder if you can throw it and then hit somebody and they're walking forward and then you pull it back and it like they're in the arc of it still. That could be cool. I'll have to see what the rest of the abilities are, but that would be really cool with some kind of movement ability where you like throw it and then you change your direction, so then the boomerang gets like, you can set up a boomerang comeback that, you know, is like way different, like they're not expecting, right? You just kind of like get yourself on a different angle, and now the boomerang is flying towards you. That could be really cool. But yeah, deals damage in both directions. Oh, like forward and back. Okay. If hits a wall, goes right back. Okay. I assume that if you don't call this back, it will just complete its trajectory. That seems pretty boomerang core. So, yeah, I really like the idea of a boomerang. Again, I'm not as into the idea of it piercing shields, but I kind of get it. Especially like when you pull it back, what happens if it hits a shield? Is it just going to come back to you nothing, or is it going to flop on the ground? Or, you know what I mean? And the thing about a boomerang, it's like when you throw it, you have to wait for it to come back before you can do anything. So if this is your only ability, or this is your only primary ability, which it looks like it, your uptime is probably going to be pretty low, especially if you're going for longer range. So that might balance out like the range aspect of this character. Although I would think maybe you want to give him like a really weak secondary kind of fire so that they have something to do while the boomerang is flying. But we'll see what the rest of it is. Electric Link. Small stun with large damage on self and boomerang. So do you activate this ability and then it stuns around yourself and around the boomerang at whatever time it is? Okay, so then like you can't really use that. Well, you could use it on yourself, I guess. So basically, you have kind of like a get off me tool, or like a hey, don't even get near me kind of button. But also you have some kind of range to do. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about like an AoE stun. You know what I mean? Like Ilyari has the AoE burst, but I think that's kind of fine and trackable and manageable. AoE stun though seems a little like I'm not so sold on that. Just because like I don't know, I feel like a stun type ability like that should have a little more like the boomerang. That's gonna have a little more skill to it, but it also stunning yourself. It doesn't seem right. I feel like if you threw the boomerang and just detonated it immediately, then you effectively have that, but you have to have boomerang to do it as well. So there's a little bit of skill there, a little bit of resource management, and it still is not going to be like a big AoE. I feel like that could work a little more, at least not to be so frustrating and give you some skill to the ability. Secondary is static barrier. Spinning the boomerang in front stops incoming damage. Sorry, spinning the boomerang. So it's like Ori spin. Okay, on a resource, overheat function with self damage. Increases electric link, strength, size, stun, and damage. Wow. Oh, it does large damage. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, definitely don't want a small stun with large damage just be an AoE ability. But yeah, secondary, spinning the boomerang in front stops incoming on a resource, overheat. So basically, if you fill up the bar, you get increase. It's like Doomfist Punch, right? If you fill up the bar, you get an increased version of the stun. Thing is that like I'm not crazy about this being linked only to primary fire. The reason being, it's like you just have to hit the boomerang one time and then you just get this free like big AoE. You know what I mean? I don't know. Also with the stun, I feel like if you want to have like a stun like that, you want to be able to then throw the boomerang and make the shots easier, correct? Like, is that not more interesting? To like stun somebody further away and then you actually get like a better shot, like kind of like Cass Hinder, right? Where he just like has an easier chance to hit targets. Why not have some kind of ability that stuns and then you throw the boomerang at the stun target, right? It's almost like Junk Trap, right? Where Junk can get guaranteed damage knowing that somebody is trapped. It's the same idea, right? I feel like that's more fun, more interesting, and a little more engaging. Probably also not as frustrating. It's just like you're just going to take massive damage from the boomerang and the static and you're stunned at that point, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. And again, like there's no numbers here, which makes sense, but kind of hard to go like how much damage is this kind of doing? Large damage, but then making that damage even higher. Again, do you like, can it stack with the regular boomerang hit? Kind of a lot of questions here, basically. Shift. Boomerang thrust. Short bursts of speed. 6 seconds. Okay, so there is a little bit of movement ability here. No other abilities can be used. Can be cancelled. So, you just get speed, but you can't really do anything with it. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not the most glamorous movement ability, but it works, I guess. I don't know, man. Like, it's isn't it like I always find it more fun to like when you have these kind of abilities, not like for complete lockout. I mean, like, how fun would it be when you're like doing this like big burst of movement and you're aiming harder to hit shots, or you burst in with the spin, right? And then you shock somebody or whatever. Like, I know you can cancel and that kind of effectively does the same thing, but like not being able to use especially your defensive ability while this is up is going to make it really hard for this character to really get in, I think. I think it's just more fun if you're able to use your abilities in tandem with your movement. Because this just seems like a soldier sprint, right? But it's on a cooldown. That's kind of effectively what this is. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can spice this ability up more. You know what I mean? Just like general movement. You know, it's not very glamorous. It doesn't have to be that glamorous, but I feel like there's a little more you can do with this. Um, Ultimate Lightning Struck. Get struck by lightning. It deals 50 damage on strike and AoE around. Gives the Omnic 4 charges. Primary is now lightning bolts that deal 100 damage on the first hit. Stuns the first target hit and can chain to other players, dealing reduced damage. 25% after each. Whoa, only 25%. Doesn't change through shields, but still damages them. That's a really weird stipulation that I feel like it's not going to feel... Oh, it can go through... The initial one can go through shields then, right? I definitely don't think something like this should be able to go through shields. Boomarang, okay, sure, whatever. I feel like a lightning strike just going... Like, being able to pierce through shields. I don't know about that. Omnic speed boost 25%. I'm not too crazy about this. I kind of like the AoE strike too, but like I would say the lightning bolts need to do way less damage because you're potentially able to. I know like you have a dissipating after each bounce, but like if you just have two people, you hit one for you. What's it called? You hit one for 100, and then the other one takes 75, and you hit the other one for another 100. And the other like now they're both down 175. Then you just have to hit another. I guess there's some skill of like how like which one you hit and when. That could be kind of cool, but I wonder if it should be more like I think you should be incentivized more to use your speed boost. So what if it was like a cone in the same direction you fired it, that the bolt would happen, right? So it's not just you hit somebody in the back and the bolt went to the next closest target. You would hit somebody and then anybody who's in like a cone or radius in that same direction that you fired it, a little more generous, obviously, would then get hit. And now you have to think about your positioning more to get the most damage out of it. And then I think that's when you can keep that high damage. And then think like, what's more worth it, right? Do I just like try to... And look, does it stun? It does stun. That's a bit... Also having a stun is a bit much too. Like, I wonder if you don't need the stun. Like, I honestly think that you probably don't want the stun. That's kind of a lot of CC on this character. Also, just like, I assume these are going to be like pretty fast firing, even hit scan per se. So yeah, I think like having a 25% boost is great. Let's just take the stun out, right? Let's give it a little more skill, a little more like thought to it, and then I think you can have the what's it called, the bolts that go in between everybody. I think that's fine then. Also, they made a 3D model, so we're gonna check that out real quick. So this is our dude. Very sick. Look at this big ass boomerang. It's huge. Actually, this guy's kind of skinny for this giant boomerang. I was expecting more of like a larger Omnic, but for 600 health, he's a little skinny. But yeah, this is really cool. I really appreciate this getting sent in. Like, that's a really, really cool idea. Also, some visual to go by. Always great. Always cool. I like this. I like some of the stuff in here. I think a Boomarang character sounds incredible. Like, I think that's a great weapon choice. I think just there needs to be a little more synergy overall. I think there's a lot of stuff that's like in the right direction, but leaves a little bit to be desired, at least on paper. And a couple of questions I had about, like, you know, does it go through this? How does it interact with this, right? Just stuff like that. Like, Electric Link, like, this is barely even, like an ability. Like, there's very little description to go off of here, you know? So I'm kind of just, like, pulling at straws, trying to piece together what you kind of mean from this. But again, this is really cool. I really appreciate this. And I really appreciate everybody watching at home. Thank you. If you wouldn't mind doing any of that good YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. It does really help me out. Again, if you have your own ideas, character ideas, rework ideas, Overwatch hot takes, anything like that, join my Discord. It's down below. The rest of my socials are there too. And I do stream these live at twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway. That's going to be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I try to do a discussion every time I go live. Always something to talk to me about. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.